Hi guys, are you ready for another story? Okay. Also children, remember to listen very carefully so you can improve your accent. So then, let's start. Read now, book 4. Chapter 13, page 68. The Lady with the Lamp. Okay, everyone, open your books. Okay? Florence Nightingale was born in Italy in 1820. She was named after the town of her birth. Her parents were British, and she grew up in the countryside of Derbyshire and Hampshire. Even as a child, she was kind and helpful to all in distress, and she was very fond of the little creatures of the woods. The following story shows her kind nature. Living in Derbyshire was a fine old shepherd named Roger, who had a splendid sheepdog called Cap. Every day they could be seen out in the hills from early morning till dusk, the shepherd carrying his long crook and dog following faithfully at his master's heels. One day, as Florence and her pastor were out riding, they noticed that the sheep were running in all directions, and the old Roger was having a hard time trying to keep up. By the look of things, he wasn't managing very well. So Florence and her pastor stopped to ask him what had become of his dog. Replied the shepherd, I really don't know what to do. Cap will never be able to help me any more. I am sorry that the poor fellow will have to be destroyed. Destroyed, said Florence. Do you mean that you must put an end to him? How could you be so cruel? Where is he now, and what has he done? He has harmed nobody, replied Roger, but yesterday a cruel, stupid boy threw a big stone at him and broke his right foreleg. The old man spoke in a very sad voice, and Florence was quite sure she noticed a tear in his eye. Poor Cap, she said the shepherd. He is wise as a human being, and such a true, faithful friend. He knew my every wish and was obedient to my orders. Would you mind if we called to see him? Asked Florence. We might be able to do something for him. It is very kind, replied the shepherd. He'll welcome you, I'm sure. He must be feeling rather lonely just now. And her pastor went on to the shepherd's cottage and called in to see the poor dog. When they talked to him, he began to wag his tail. Then he crawled from under the table and lay down at their feet. Florence took hold of his paw and patted his rough head while pastor looked at the injured leg. It was badly swollen and it hurt him to have it touched, but he licked his hands, for he knew she was trying to help him. Page 70. Children, are you listening? Remember, listen carefully, okay? Page 70. It's only a bad bruise. I'm glad to say that there are no bones broken, said the pastor. If Cap rests for a few days, he should be well again. Thank goodness, exclaimed Florence. Can we do anything to ease his pain? Yes, bathe his leg with warm water. That should help. Florence lit the fire, readied some hot water, and began to bathe the poor dog's leg. It was not before long he tried to show his thanks by wagging his tail. On their way back home, they met the old shepherd coming slowly homewards. Oh, Roger, cried Florence, you will not lose poor old Cap after all. We have found that his leg is badly bruised, but not broken. I am delighted to hear it, said the old man. Many thanks for going to see him. The next morning, Florence rose early and went to bathe Cap's leg. The following day, she bathed it again. And in 2 or 3 days, the dog was as fit as ever, and was able to look after the sheep for his master. Florence Nightingale was a young woman when war broke out between Britain and Russia. Most of the fighting took place in a part of Russia called Crimea. Hundreds of soldiers were killed or wounded, and many others died from sickness, cold, or famine. It was at this time that she made up her mind to help the weak and suffering soldiers. And she sailed with a band of nurses to Crimea. Everything was in a terrible mess when they arrived. They started by making the hospitals as clean as possible. Windows were opened to let in fresh air. Food was well cooked and beds were kept clean and tidy. Everybody was eager to help her in her fight against dirt and disease. Page 72. Night after night, when her hard day work was done, she passed from room to room with a lantern in her hand. She spoke a few kind words to one, smoothed the pillow of another, and tried to get them to sleep soundly and well. Behold, the lady with the lamp by the soldiers. As she could scarcely find time to rest from her work, she became very ill. Luckily, she got well again and was able to go back to help her brave nurses. When Florence Nightingale returned to England,